Hey everybody, this is Mike coming at you from north central North Carolina. I'm out here on the Yadkin River with the Mavic Mini today. I hadn't flown it in a while. Been flying the air too, and wanted to get the Mini out and fly it around a little bit. And I hadn't been to this spot in a while. I'm actually at a canoe access. There's several up and down the river. I'm under a bridge also. This place is called Shallowford. There's actually a little bit of history right around this area. I guess it was one of the easier points to cross this river. During the Revolutionary War, Lord Cornwallis and his 8,000 men army crossed here as they were watched by colonial spies and scouts on his way to the Battle of Yorktown, where he was defeated by Washington and pretty much was the beginning of the end of the Revolutionary War. And then in later years, during the Civil War, Major General Stoneman got in a skirmish here with Confederate troops. He had moved into North Carolina from Tennessee, originally to block any kind of retreat from Robert E. Lee from Virginia, because it was pretty much known that the Confederates were going to lose the battle. And April 9th, as a matter of fact, Lee surrendered, and Stoneman found out about it, so he just stayed in North Carolina, destroying railways, ammunition dumps, bridges, stuff like that, anything that helped the war effort. But anyway, I'm out here. You can see how muddy the river is. If it rains upriver, the farmers' fields erode real bad. You can see it's just an awful brown color. Actually, upriver used to be pretty much a secret. Smallmouth fishing was real good. It's a lot more rapid upriver, several shoals and small holes. Well, we used to just tear up smallmouth, and the word kind of got out through word of mouth, and there was an article written in a newspaper and a North Carolina Sportsman's magazine, and the smallmouth fishing pretty much died off, and it wasn't from overfishing. Several years, summers in a row, the river was real low, and this weird looking aquatic plant just started taking over upriver. I mean, it was just choking out every little fishing hole. Wherever there would be shoals or islands, it was a weird looking plant too. It would just take over. You couldn't even cast through the stuff. It pretty much killed the smallmouth fishing. Down here, downriver, it's just a regular fish you find in North Carolina. You know, largemouth, catfish varieties, you know, flathead, bullhead, channel cats, brim, white bass, perch. There's a dam downriver from this spot. It's about 30 miles or so. Actually pretty close to my house. First hydroelectric dam built in North Carolina. Idles Dam. There's 3 lakes that they've made out of this river. Downriver they dammed up. The first one's called High Rock. The second one's Tuckertown. And then Baden. After the river leaves Baden, it turns into the PD, which flows into South Carolina and then on into the ocean. Around here, there's several Indian dams. You can always kind of spot them when I be canoeing downriver. Like, most of the time they would incorporate an island, and I don't know how they do it. They roll these giant boulders, pretty much build a wall so they could funnel the fish through one side of the river into their nets. Every little island you stop to, you'll find broken bits of pottery. I've never found anything whole, just broken bits here and there everywhere. Now, I was with a buddy of mine one day, and he found a really cool pipe the Indians had made. And most of the arrowheads you find are made of flint. A friend of mine did find a quartz arrowhead, which was really cool. That's kind of unusual to find one made out of quartz. Down here on the river, this is pretty much a more flat area. It starts behind another lake up in the mountains called Kerr Scott Reservoir. Now, I have flown the Pro Platinum up there. I got a video on that. And we're probably about 50 or 60 miles below that lake. But anyway, I wanted to get out here with the Mini. I know everybody flies differently, you know, FAA rules or line of sight. I mean, you know, a young dude might be able to see 3 miles away, an older guy maybe 1. I don't know how anybody flies line of sight with the Mini. I never fly line of sight. I'm kind of like a FPV in a way. I mean, the only time I look at the drone is landing and taking off. I feel more in control and in command if I fly the screen. I'm in the cockpit. You know, that's the way I fly comfortably. You know, right is right, left is left. I never lose sight of it. I mean, you couldn't make this flight with the Mini. I didn't go that far, maybe a half a mile, but hell, you're going to lose the Mini 400 feet away. I always fly the screen. I just feel more comfortable like that. I mean, some dudes, you see them crash because they have a brain fart. You know, they're flying away, flying line of sight, and right is right, but then they turn and come back towards them. You know, it's the opposite then. Right is left and left is right. Oh, I crashed. You know, whatever makes you more comfortable. I just fly the screen. Even if I'm 100 feet away, I fly the screen. But I appreciate you stopping by the channel. I just wanted to do a little flying with the Mini. It had been so long, and I wouldn't think about fishing when it was muddy like this. It is a great river to be out on. There's canoe accesses all up and down it. And 2 or 3 parks. And like I said, if you get lucky, some of these islands, I have heard of people finding whole bits of pottery. I've never found anything but pieces, but every single island I've come to, there are broken bits. The Cherokee was the most prevalent tribe around here. It's spelled Y-A-D-K-I-N, kind of an unusual name, Yadkin. I tell you, the Mini's a great drone for getting it up fast and flying. It's been so hot here, if you want to do any flying, you got to get up when the sun comes up and be done flying by 10:30. It's not the heat like they say, it's the humidity. The humidity's just been sky high. I like it when it's hot and 85 in the daytime, but down to 60 at night, you know. We hadn't had a break all summer. Usually we'll get a break at least 2 or 3 days where we'll have low humidity, and we hadn't had a single break. You wake up in the morning and it's 73 degrees and the dew point's in the low 70s. It's been rough. I'll tell you one thing about the Mini also. You can't leave it sitting in the sun without flying it for 10 or 15 minutes or it'll overheat. As long as you're flying it, it'll do okay, but you can't leave it just sitting there. It'll say process. I guess because it doesn't have an internal fan. I appreciate you all stopping by my channel. Wanted to give you a look at the Yadkin. I used to spend a lot of time here canoeing. I got a couple canoes. I hadn't been in a while. Need to get back out on the water. This bridge right here was the Shallowford spot where Lord Cornwallis and Major General Stoneman, I guess he had quite a large cavalry. It said 6,000 men. He rampaged across North Carolina, several towns. But now it's just a canoe access. And I'm standing on the left side. You can't see me right now. Getting ready to pass under the bridge, of course. I wouldn't even think about fishing when the water was muddy like this. It's actually pretty when it's not. It's kind of a bluish green tint. It's just bad farming erosion. Every time it would rain up in the hills, all the erosion off the farmer's field would turn it this chocolate brown color. I appreciate you stopping by my channel, checking out the Mini video. I hope everybody's doing all right. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.